First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glories to Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God, Bahashem, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right, and then Kakadash. All right, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and those are the men that I learned from. They preach on the highways and hedges, in truth and sincerity, risking their life for them to do so. All right, Shalom to the 1/3 part of Israel scattered to the four winds of the earth, the diaspora, the dispersed, all right, of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. To you, your household, Shalom. And it's also Shalom to the Israelites who look like the other nations, but go back to the 12 patriarchs of Israel. Shalom. All right? Fair use, fair use. If you've been paying any attention, we all know who that is. And this is our message right now. All right, so this is a developing story. Bear with me. So these are just the opinions of some people because there's a meeting with, called by Pete Hegseth, right? So that might be one of them trigger words, I don't know. But so rumor has it that, and I don't like rumors, right? But people are speculating. So it's alleged that the all of the military is supposed to be meeting right next week to hear the quote unquote warrior ethos, right? According to Hegseth, right? So this is what's being said. Again, fair use, fair use.
What is happening? But be ready, okay? Just in case. But this will not go the way he thinks. If he's trying to pull off what he might be, it will not. So please have faith in the military. Please have faith in the leaders. All of these brothers and sisters who have been bonded over decades of conflicts with each other, not with him, and to the Constitution, and to the UCMJ. Okay? All right, thanks.
Okay, folks, next week our country changes forever, and I need you to be prepared for it. No violence, no violence. That would be the worst possible thing you could do. It would play right into their hand. And don't panic. Don't panic, I'll tell you why. So, Texas Paul, hope your coffee is as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Yeah, this is the end of September, and next week they're about to decapitate the military. Pete Hegseth has called a meeting of well over 100 of our top generals. I give you an idea, I think there's only like 475 top generals and admirals, not top, but total generals and admirals. There's like 475. He's called a meeting of over 100 of them. They're going to decapitate the military next week. That's what's going on. They've been moving towards that. The plans that they've been putting together, they've been calling a consolidation of leadership. And this is the Nazi playbook. They already did it with ICE. They did it with ICE. The $100 million they put into ICE was exactly the Nazi playbook. They went out and recruited out of the militias, and that's why they wear the mask, so you can't identify where they got these people from. Now the next step is decapitate the military and create super generals. These are generals that they're going to have basically ad campaigns for. They're going to get the nationalists behind them, the raw nationalists behind these generals to make superstars out of them because they're sycophants that they can control. They will do anything that they're told. This will be the end of your country as you know it, but I need you to not panic, and this is why. You can stop this. You may not be able to stop these generals from being fired and removed, but you can stop this entire thing. A country of 330 million people that will not be governed cannot be governed. It's that simple. It's that simple. Protest. Fight, boycott, fight economically, close your wallet, and sit yours down. Folks, a bunch of unarmed Indians ran the most powerful empire at the time, the British, out of India by simply sitting their ass down. You can do that too. You can do that too. Most of these major corporations run on loans. If you just stop spending, they fold. You understand?
All right. So as you heard right there, those are the opinion of people in America. Some people in America, right? So I want to bring out some precepts that have to do with the situation. And
first I gotta say, I want to get into a definition, right? Because the guy that just exited stage left, you know, we gotta talk like this. They were calling him this, right? Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit so you can see it. They're calling him one of those. All right. So so the definition of one of those is one who bears testimony of faith, especially one who willingly suffers being unalived rather than surrender his or her religious faith. All right. Slakia. It says specifically one of the Christians who in former times were put to death because they would not renounce their beliefs. And it says martyr, it literally means witness. Okay, so you have witness. Okay, so we know the original meaning of Christian was a derogatory term that they put on our ancestors, the Israelites, because let's be clear, the actual Israelites, the biblical Israelites, who have descendants to this day scattered to the four winds of the earth, are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But that heritage, the beliefs and everything has been pretty much stripped down through over time through gradualism, right? So I don't want to make this long, but I want to get into some precepts. But I wanted to give you the definition of martyr, and it means witness, right? So if you're going to be a witness for the Most High power of heaven and earth, you know, the same God of the Bible, right? Then you must be an honest witness, because he don't have nothing to do with liars, right? A liar is going to be destroyed. So it says here in Proverbs 12, Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 17, it says that an honest witness tells the truth. It says a false witness tells lies. Okay, so you can be a witness, but it won't make you a martyr necessarily, unless you're telling the truth, right? And then you somehow meet your demise, you know, in regard to that truth. Say brother is witnessing, you know, and defending his faith, and so somebody decides that they want to just, you know, take him out. Okay, that would be an actual martyr. Okay, an actual witness. Okay, and so as the gentleman was saying in the video, you know, they're talking about what he's talking about is pretty much boycotting, you know, what's going on, you know, and not only them, they're going to be trying to boycott Israel as well. So that's why they have these anti-BDS things set up, so that anybody that's talking about boycotting, you know, the Israelis, you know what I'm saying, the small hats, anybody talking about doing that is going to be pretty much, they could be charged with like sedition, you know, like an uprising, right? I'm looking around, there's mosquitoes out here, I'm getting bed up. All right, so basically what I'm saying is, like, you know, you can't call somebody a martyr if they're not an actual martyr, if they're not telling the truth, right? Somebody, you know, that's quick to wrath and whatnot, it's all falsehood, you know what I'm saying? To be claiming, oh, that person a martyr, like, you don't even know what a martyr is, you know what I'm saying, to begin with. So all right, so let's segue from that into another portion of the video, whereas they were saying that you know, Pete Hegseth gonna be calling together, you know, the military to meet in a specific location in the United States to discuss what it is to be a warrior. He gonna be supposedly giving them the warrior ethos when he's allegedly only served like one he went on like one tour or something like that. So you know, you got his minimal contribution to the military service versus people who have been in there for decades, right? So I'm not bigging up the military or nothing like that. I'm not doing nothing like that. But what I'm saying is this, well, I'm not even saying it. They're saying some guys that are actually veterans are actually probably still enlisted. They were on the same video, and they were saying that you know, how can you provide a warrior ethos when this is your situation, and then you're representing a chief in command. Though he be a chief in command, he does not hold the keys, the proverbial keys to the military, meaning that, you know, they might want to sack the military. That could be what they're trying to do, because they were saying that in Nazi Germany, Hitler did the same thing. He took like all the top people that was like in the military or whatever, and pretty much he pretty much knocked them out of their position. All right, because that's what a dictatorship looks like. That's what they're likening this to. This is what they're comparing it to, right? And so with that being said, man, yeah, they're talking about Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, and his dealings with the military, you know, because he was a young man once, and while being a young man, you know, I found this article, you know, that talked about him in his young days, and it played in this magazine. This article comes out of Teen Vogue, right? So you can see there's a photo of him right there, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of the article, you know, to give you kind of like some background on him, you know, because he's talking about military and this and that, and you gotta know that what he's doing is he's taking a small group of people and he's trying to build his own private military, right, by pulling people from the militias and stuff like that, putting them and piecing them together to piece up his own nationalist force, a lot like how Hitler did in his Third Reich Germany, right? So you follow what's going on. So he's pretty much trying to undo the military and its orders and set up his own, so that they can, you know, what they speculate that he wants allegiance to him, because he wants the military to serve him and his purposes, right? If you notice, there has been a trend where he's moving people out of certain positions that have authority to speak out against him, and he's like, well, I'm the president. He wants to appear strong, and in his pride and arrogancy, if people are not worshiping him, you know, or, you know, the image basically, because this is the beast system, you know, if you're not worshiping him or his system, then he has no need for you. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you become expendable. You know what I'm saying? He can get rid of you. So let's get into this article. All right, where it says there that Donald Trump's military cowardice goes beyond his 5 draft deferrals. It says he continuously disrespects those who actually served. And this is an article written by Lincoln Anthony Blades in Teen Vogue on August the 3rd of 2017. You see that? So they was reporting on this a while ago. It says, when I look at President Donald Trump, I see a pot-bellied 71-year-old man with a doughy frame. Oh, sorry, Salakia, I'm sorry, man. It says, but in 1968, when he was a 22-year-old University of Pennsylvania graduate, Trump was a tall, fit athlete who played football, tennis, and golf. His age and clean medical history qualified him a perfect candidate for the draft to serve in the United States Army and fight in the Vietnam War. But he avoided combat after receiving a 1Y medical deferment, which he has said was due to bone spurs in his heels. More than 500,000 American men were stationed in Vietnam by the end of that year, which was the bloodiest 12 months of the conflict. On the day of his graduation from the University of Pennsylvania, 40 Americans were killed in Vietnam, according to the New York Times. All right, so let's see. Let's go down. The son of Fred Trump, a wealthy New York real estate developer, Donald Trump did what many other wealthy young men were allowed to do. He dodged the draft. Between 1964 and 1972, a few months before the draft ended, he received 5 deferments, in addition to his bone spurs claim. The other 4 were based on his educational status. So he was basically claiming, I'm a student and I'm not gonna go, basically, you know what I'm saying? So he's known as a draft dodger. So somebody that's pro-military and whatnot, right? You would see this guy, you know, you would see him as a person who actually fought, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't actually ever a soldier, you know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of military personnel going up making these videos talking about he's a draft dodger and that he's pretty much what do you call that that's like trying to claim honor that like don't belong to you. It's like false valor or something like that. It's like and you know, that's crazy, man. But he wants to push this military agenda like Kim Jong-un does, or Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. You know what I'm saying? They have like a strong military force. It look like I seen some videos the other day. You know, they marching and all that, so they deep. You know what I'm saying? But Trump, he wanna portray that military leadership. You know what I'm saying? But he never served. So you got a lot of veterans coming out saying, yeah, that's you represent false valor. And then what they think he's trying to dismantle the military, you know, and they're saying that their comrades, their brothers in arms are not going to go for it, you know, because they're constitutionally trained to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic, man, to make it plain. So they're saying that, you know, it's going to be a lot of pushback, you know what I'm saying? So this is what's going to happen. You know, you're going to have that level of dissension, you know. Yeah, that's just the thing, man. So let's get into some precepts, man. It talks about, you know, these latter times that we in, man. So I just want to bring out a couple precepts, and you know, we got to know that that the enemy, the adversary, you know, he has a history of not only fraudulent valor. He's a coward, you know. So, and he's a talebearer, which means, you know, he bears false witness. That goes into, like, you know, the other guy who exited stage left. You know, he bears false witness. You know, he has the spirit of Satan, because in the scriptures it says that Satan, you know, was the accuser of our brethren, right? And you know, the maker, our creator, Yahweh, he knows these things already, you know, and he's already set it up to where, you know, these people are going to get a recompense, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And he, you know, Yahweh Shai said that, a house divided against itself shall not stand, right? So if you have people in your own country divided against you, you know, you got to look at that. You know, if you're not measuring the time, if you're not able to see these things, and you blind, man, mentally something's wrong with you, you know. So obviously something's wrong, but that is pretty much that's very telling of the wicked, man. Right? So, but Yahweh Shai says to us, you know, the people that was given a law from the beginning, you know, he says that in Isaiah 54, verse 17, that no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. It says, this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, said the Lord, you know. So if righteousness, you know, is the heritage, then being circumspect, you know, walking in integrity, in love, charity, hope, and faith, all these wonderful things are the case for his servants, then who are the opposite of the servants? You see? And you know, if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, then you know, you bear witness with the Spirit. Okay? It says let me see. Let me get that precept. I want to make sure I get it, because I know it, but I want to be able to quote it directly and provide the precept for you, so that if you're learning at this point, because we all have to learn at some point. Take notes, right? It says in Romans chapter 8 verse 16 that the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of power Yahweh, you know. So you know, it's not you know, it's it's just looking at, you know, the fruits of the spirit, right? Like a person is righteous or unrighteous. You'll be able to look at that, and if it bothers you to see some unrighteous things, if it bothers you to see lies, if it bothers you to see homosexuality, things of that nature, you know, then the spirit bears witness with your spirit bears witness with the Holy Spirit, you know, that you know you are a child of the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So with that being the case, man, like I say, Lord, Abu Ratazah, Lord's willing, that this has been edifying, man. To the next one, Shalom.